Hey friends, Pastor Michael from Organic Church. We're excited for another season of growing together. We'd love to have you join us on Sunday mornings at 10 or Wednesday evenings at 7 for friends, family, and a whole lot of Jesus. Nobody's going to come in. I mean, I guess somebody could wander in.
Say that now.
Yeah, I guess somebody could wander in, but yeah.
Well, if we see anybody pull up, I can.
So I'll just say it because I don't have a problem just saying it.
Go
I was
ahead.
talking to Pastor Holly earlier today. It's really frustrating to me that we cancel a Wednesday night service because it's cold outside.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me. It was single digits on Sunday morning and all these people showed up for church.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
It is
You're
double
right.
digits right now, and we think it's too cold to come out. I understand it was negative this morning. I get it.
Right.
But come on.
And look at it now.
And listen, it's going to be this temperature every morning for the next week, and we're all going to get up and go to work,
Mhm.
right?
It's winter in Ohio.
And
Right.
the building is warm. You go from the car to the building, the
Right.
building to the
I
car.
was not thinking it was real warm in here.
Well, it's okay. Roger complained because it was hot, so we turned the heat
Oh, I
down.
say I'm comfortable.
Yeah, we turned the heat down. It was like I turned on everything because when I got here today, none of the furnaces were working.
Oh.
So all
That
three,
was a scary thought.
all three of the furnaces on this side of the building were not running. So I had to get them all fired back up and got us running. And I was worried that we were going to have frozen pipes. It was like 44 degrees in here when I got here today.
Why were they not running?
So if you want me to guess, I could speculate, which I'm happy to do. I would assume they all three need new thermocouplers. Roger and I have had to pull the thermocouplers on all three and sand them down so that they would be able to light. And so after it doesn't light for so long, we get a little bit of a downdraft and it'll put out the pilot light. So my guess is that's what was wrong. The one is an electric ignition, and that thermocoupler it needs to be replaced. They're not super expensive, but when you don't have the money, you just sand them.
Yeah, sandpaper's cheap.
Sandpaper. Well, and we already have some.
Yeah.
I've got an emergency piece of sandpaper back there, so we just pull it out, sand it down, put it back in. I had a hard time getting the one to light. It would not light. It finally did. So
You didn't sand it long.
my guess is this one's not working right now, though, based on how cold it is on this side of the building. That one's probably not working.
Which one's that? The little one?
The little one, the single, because the sanctuary has two furnaces. And then the little one actually does this whole side of the building. So it does the cafe, both of the bathrooms, the council room, podcast room, and the hallway.
That's why the hallway's super cold.
And there's only one vent in the hallway.
So we're going to have everything in working order on
I make no
Saturday?
promises.
Maybe.
I make
Wear a coat.
no promises. Exactly.
You,
And I'm not on standby. I'm not on call
I
for
thought
that.
you were doing.
I will be here for coffee,
Cafe.
but I have to leave after I'm done. So they go out. It's the same with the water running. If the water starts running, I'm shutting it off. I don't know what else to do because I can't stop it.
If the spirit's moving, we're going to be on fire anyway.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to be in a tutu. So I'm going to be.
Well, wear pants under it, Beth. Jeez.
Wear those
That got weird.
That's what I'm going to wear.
This isn't like, you know what? On second thought, I'm not coming for coffee service.
Listen, I ordered my tutu to go clear to the floor.
Yeah, I'm not coming for coffee service.
And
Never mind.
I am wearing pants.
Lord.
Is it a teal tutu?
No,
No.
don't ask.
What color?
Pink.
What? Why'd you say it like that?
Because
You're going to look like a flamingo.
I paid for my tutu a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she sent me a message that she couldn't get the black material.
Oh.
So now it's pink.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, that's quite a...
That's a big jump. It's a drastic difference.
Black to
Teal
pink.
to black.
Kind of had choices between green, lots of multiple different colors of green.
Oh, yeah, that's where you should have went with that.
Yeah.
Coral,
Lime green or something.
corals, oranges.
Yeah.
Corals and orange. Yeah. You ever
Oranges.
see me in that? Mm-mm.
Oh, goodness.
I
Goodness.
mostly stick to black, navy, and brown.
Oh,
She's boring.
she is.
I-
All right, just needs to step out of that comfort zone.
No adventure.
I'm just
Yeah,
glad I
what?
didn't plan a getaway to Florida this week.
Right?
No kidding.
That
How
is
mad
true.
would you be?
People.
How mad would you be? So I have a friend who we were good friends with her when we lived in Newark, and she moved to Florida. And we were always like on Facebook tagging each other, hey, game night, whatever. Because we did lots of game nights when we lived down there. We had a really close group of friends that it was probably at least 3 Saturdays a month we were at somebody's house playing board games. And she saw one of the old posts that said, hey, when are we having another game night? And she commented and said, oh, so much, misses so much, or how about this weekend or something like that. And I said, yeah, but we're coming to your place because it's cold up here. Well, now she's got like 12 inches of snow. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
Oh, right.
It is just
My
cold.
cousin sent me pictures, from the beach
Yeah.
with the snow.
Yeah. We lived in Biloxi, Mississippi for a while. I don't remember it.
Oh, they got a lot of.
They got hammered.
Yeah.
Like Biloxi Beach is white. It's crazy. Yeah. I can't imagine. And a lot of those houses don't have heat. So like
Oh,
they
yeah.
because why would they?
Why
They
would
don't
they?
need it.
Right.
They don't have snow plows or salt trucks. Like
No, everything is totally shut down.
Yep. I remember when my grandma lived in Alabama, they'd get a dusting and people would lose
Shut
their
everything
minds.
down,
They
yeah.
couldn't drive on the roads. Like
My girlfriend Brooke moved to Louisiana, and they don't have a furnace. They have a big fireplace,
Mhm.
and it has a blower on it if it gets chilly. But
Yeah.
she cracks me up though because she said it's freezing down here. It's 35 degrees.
girl,
I'm like,
you know,
girl,
we're
come
walking here,
on.
we're walking around in shirts and
Oh.
short sleeve shirts and shorts whenever it's 35 degrees out. Alyssa and I were outside cleaning out the garage the last time it was 35 degrees out.
That's a heat wave.
Yeah, right.
I don't remember if it was last year or the year before that they got a little bit of snow down there. And the hospital she worked at called her and said, we're putting cots up in the cafeteria.
Nope.
I'll
Just
drive home.
Yeah,
you can,
I'll figure it out.
Because if you want to come in now before, the rest of the snow comes, because, we're not going to accept call-offs for bad weather. And Brooke's like, I'm from Ohio. I'm fine.
Yeah, I got this. I guess I can drive in backwards. Trust me, I'm
Right.
okay.
I stayed at the hospital one time when the weather was really, really bad and they wanted us to stay. I'm like, never again.
Yeah.
I've never called off work for weather.
Yeah.
Never again would I do that.
Yeah. Like this morning I got up and I was slow moving. I'm like, you know what? I could work remote today. It's cold. Like I don't really need to go into the office. And I meandered around the house for a little bit. And I'm like, if I don't go to the office, I'm going to go nuts. I'm out of here. And I bolted. Like, I was like, I got to go.
You shut the laptop on second thought.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nobody was up. The house was quiet. But I was like, if I stay here, I am going to go absolutely crazy before the end of the day. So I decided it was time to go.
So when the schools take a snow day, do your kids get a snow day as well?
No, not typically. And the only reason we don't do that is because they're done by noon most days anyway. They do one. I don't want to say one lesson, but they'll do one subject a day. So no, not
Yeah.
usually. Although my kids were outside this morning at like 9 a.m. It was negative 12 degrees out, playing laser tag and eating snow, and they were out there for an hour. I'm like, I didn't like to walk to the car, but
And you had to go through the garage.
yeah, that's what I said. It was 32 degrees in the garage. I didn't like that. So yeah, I didn't. Kids are strange, man.
How cold was it at your shop today?
It was cold. And of all days, they decide that they're going to turn the electric off on my side of the building where my office is so they can do maintenance for a new burn table they're going to install. So about 8:30, I'm in my office, lights go out, computer goes out, heat goes off. And at first I thought they're playing a prank on me.
Yeah. I got
So
you.
I'm like, what the heck? And they're like, oh yeah, we forgot. We're
Forgot to
doing
tell ya."
maintenance over here. I'm like, today?
Well, what are you supposed to do
It's
all
only
day?
going to take an hour or two. I go, okay.
That's
He
stupid.
went
I'm like,
and
all
bought
right,
the
well,
office.
I guess I'm going to go find some hot cocoa. And I did.
We have our office is attached to a golf simulator space, so we have a golf simulator inside of that space, and we have to walk through there to get to our offices. And we usually heat it to about 70 degrees, dude. The golf simulator is so hot at 70 degrees compared to our office. Our offices are freezing. I don't know how, but they are. So I've got a little space heater in my office that I
Yeah,
kick
that's
on.
what
when
I
I want.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Listen, Today, I thought it caught my pant legs on fire. I was sitting there and I was working. I'm like, man, it is toasty in here. I'm just working away. And I'm like, man, I'm going to have to take my coat off. Like,
You smell something?
and then I realized that like that heater was right on my leg. It was hot. So,
They get hot.
yeah, it felt good.
I used to prop up my feet like
Yeah.
right above it, and yeah.
Yeah. If my phone rings whenever we get about another 15 minutes in, it's because there's a golf simulator appointment and it gets a little hairy.
Do people rent it out?
Yeah. So
Oh.
it's, you can rent it by the hour. So you can do 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes, and then you can book as many appointments as you want. So if you want to do 4 hours, you can book 2-hour
Yeah.
appointments. I don't normally handle the golf simulator. Somebody else does, but they're on vacation this week. So, hey, it's all me. And you have to remote connect to it to turn everything on and get it set up. It's not a big deal. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's worse when people mess it up. Like somebody shut off the computer. So they have access to the computer, but they don't have the actual computer, but they can go to the start menu and turn it off, which when people do that, it creates chaos because now I can't remote in to turn it on for the next guest. So I have to send somebody physically over there to power it on. So it's a real pain in the rump. But it was off today. And for some reason, I didn't get the last 2 notifications for appointments, which is a real pain because they get there and then they call my cell phone and they're like, hey, we're here and it's not working. Normally I have a half hour to, because
Yeah.
the way the windows work, to figure it out.
Huh.
So I had to call somebody, have them run over and get it turned on. So hopefully they don't turn this one off. We'll see.
Oh, before I lose it, have you seen the little Bradford Exchange Elvis
Yes,
jumpsuit?
Oh my gosh.
I was going
want
to
them
share it to you and it wouldn't let me.
I want them so badly.
Well,
But they're only 6 inches and they're $60 a piece.
yeah.
They're 6
I
inches.
wasn't sure how tall they were, but
6 inches and they're $60 a piece. But they have the Aloha jumpsuit, they have the 68 comeback suit, and they have the peacock. Now the problem with the peacock, do you know what the problem is?
no.
Really, Nick?
Well, I didn't look at it that closely.
It's displayed with a cape. Elvis never wore a cape with a
Oh,
peacock jumpsuit.
Okay.
So Bradford's got
Shame
some-
on Bradford.
I know. That's what I said.
I thought they were authentic.
No, well, apparently
That
not.
one's not.
Apparently not. So Tiger Jumpsuit's coming. She emailed me today. That's a real thing. It's happening. I have enough saved for another one. So now the question is, what's it going to be?
Why don't you get one that doesn't fit you, or that
I think
place the
I
one
think
that
I'm going to
fit?
buy from a different
Oh.
maker this time.
Oh, you
There's
want
a,
to try?
there's a maker in Thailand. It's called AJM and Jumpsuit Makers. It's all they do. Dude, theirs are legit. But they're like double the price too. So
How can that be like all they do?
that's all they
Many
do.
People buying these
I-
jumpsuits?
There are 3 companies that this is all that they do. There's just in Ohio, you have Steve Yates. He's down from Columbus, between Columbus and Cincinnati. That's all he does, make jumpsuits. There's a lady in Canada, the lady I buy from. There's a lady in Illinois named Kathy Kittle. That's all she does for a living, make jumpsuits. AJM and then B&K Enterprises. That's all they do.
Well, I got to ask, why don't you use the guy in Ohio?
Oh, in Ohio, because Steve is incredibly old and he's not super accurate with his replicas. So like his spacing isn't quite right. I mean, they're decent, but I would call those beginner suits. I'm in an intermediate level right now where I'm buying. If I move to the other company, we'll be like full-fledged. Like these are stupidly priced and nobody should be spending that kind of money. But
Is there an estimate on how many Elvis impersonators there are?
I
in the
wondered
world
that.
right now?
let's look. I don't know.
Ask Google.
Right?
Roughly 250 to 400,000.
Okay, I guess.
I guess you could keep them in business. I mean, you got to think I'm buying 4 a year.
Did they count you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Nobody asked you, did they?
No, nobody surveyed me. That's for sure. Nobody surveyed me.
Maybe they go to the suit makers.
Maybe they do.
That's
They go-
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
How many
Yeah.
people do you have? And then they can cross-reference the lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they sell our information to the other companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they try and
steal each other's steal each other's business. Yeah. When I found AJM, which I had known about them for a long time, but again, they're expensive. I reached out to them a couple of days ago and just said, hey, interested in a new suit. What would we need to do? Because they're in Thailand. I mean, there's a whole process with sending measurements and like just getting everything started. So
would your suit need a passport?
I don't know.
Right.
It does have to pass through customs.
I was
I know
going to say,
that.
get stuck in customs.
Yes, I do know that. Yeah.
I had a
Same
pair
with
of
Canada.
glasses
though.
get stuck in customs for weeks.
Hey, I have
Parasites.
something I bought in November that still hasn't showed up in my house yet.
Where'd you buy it from?
it was a car air freshener from a company called Drift, and they have the worst customer service ever. They won't give me a refund because they say it's still in transit, which it is technically, but it went from New Jersey to Dover to Michigan. And then it never moved from Michigan for like 45 days. It was insanity. And then it said that it was out for delivery in Dover, but we forwarded the address. So it still never showed up. But yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you order it through Amazon?
No. Ordered it through Drift. But anyhow, I ended up charging it back on my credit card and got my money back. So it didn't really matter. But it's still annoying. And I won't buy another one from them. It's not going to waste my time.
Have you ever had the desire to design your own jumpsuit?
No, never.
Or is that like a no-no?
And the reason,
Elvis world?
I was going to say the reason I haven't is because if you want to ever do a competition, they have to be authentic jumpsuits.
Have you ever done a
I
competition?
have never done a competition.
Why not?
You would be surprised with, this is a theory of mine. This is a theory of mine. And this happens a lot in our area. And I think it happens a lot with anybody who has any level of talent. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're so good. You should go on American Idol. Oh, you should go on The Voice. You should go on America's Got Talent. Fact of the matter is we're small town good, not big town good. You know what I mean? Like I'm not Vegas material. I could be, but I don't, that's not
I just learned that with the Gettysburg Guide test.
Yes.
Same thing. Oh my God, you should do it. You know everything.
Yes.
Yeah, I know everything.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's the hard part. Like, and I'm very humble about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I like,
Right, yeah.
like,
yeah,
thank you.
right.
but
It's
yeah.
I'm okay, but I don't. I enjoy my nursing home circuit and I enjoy my little shows. I don't need to be on a big stage somewhere in Vegas. It's just not what I'm shooting for. And don't get me wrong, I want to start doing some small competitions, but I'm not interested in like the ultimate competition. They have like 8 qualifiers a year, and then you go to Graceland during Elvis week and do it's. I mean, it's a huge competition. Those guys are way better than me.
Well,
And there are some guys that get there every year that make it to the ultimate competition every year
yeah.
and never win.
And you got to understand, like some of these people, that's all they
Yep.
do.
That's what I was thinking.
Their
And-
entire focus in life is
There's an expense associated with it.
Yeah.
If I were to do a small competition, you figure there's a $150 registration fee just to be in the competition. You have $150. You got overnight stay. Typically, they're 2 nights, sometimes 3, depending on how far you make it in the competition. So you've got a 3-night stay plus food, and then anything else that you would have to cover while you're there.
Yeah.
And if you lose, it's just gone.
Yeah, but it's the
Is there an
experience.
Elvis? Is there an Elvis impersonator podcast?
Oh, I'm sure there is. Let's look that up.
Google it.
Because if not, we're starting one.
Yeah, no kidding.
First episode tonight.
No, there's not. It
All
doesn't
right, you
look
need
like
to-
there's one specifically for.
You got to jump on it. There's your
What's this?
next mission.
Yeah, we can.
No, this one's just like about Memphis, and they talk about Elvis Week and things like that. I should do that. That would be
Interview.
fun.
Yeah.
Like
That would be
interview
fun. Just do
people.
phone interviews with
Jump
people.
on it
Yeah.
before somebody else does.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's an idea out there that hasn't been taken,
No kidding.
it's
Yeah, no
pretty
kidding.
amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
to have a new revolutionary idea that somebody isn't already doing is pretty.
Look,
If we have the
your little
technology.
gears clicking in
Yeah.
your head.
Yeah.
Someone's going to
Alyssa's
take your
like,
idea once.
Thanks a lot. Nick.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Alyssa is not
A
having
third
it.
podcast.
No, it would be a fourth podcast. Actually, it might end up being a 5th. I am working with the chamber right now on launching a podcast for Twin Cities just about local businesses. So
I like that.
each business gets to come on and do a half-hour episode about what they do, the types of things that they sell, and kind of do a quick promotion of their business and things like that. So,
Cool.
Wait,
What
so
other ones are you?
yeah, you're that one.
okay, so I've got that one.
This
I've
one?
got this one.
The one
We
with
have Tied Together, which is the marriage podcast, which Sid and Chase just joined. So we're doing that with the 4 of us. Then I have Rewind, which is our church podcast.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so that would be podcast number 5.
that one's cheating.
Well, not really. I mean, I still have to record it.
Yeah.
But you're recording it when you're preaching.
Well, maybe so, but it still has to be maintained.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, otherwise it would just be never be updated. Actually, that one's over in minutes right now. I'm like over by 2 hours on that.
Oh, way to go.
That I know. So there's an extra.
Nick,
Hey.
were you preaching in that?
Yeah. No, it's because I recently started including the Wednesday night services.
Oh, okay.
And so now that's an extra half hour, 45 minutes
Yeah.
that gets
Gotcha.
tacked on there.
Hmm.
So
I had to.
Let it go.
Let it
It's
go.
not my record anymore anyway.
Yeah, who took your record? Holly?
did, yeah.
Holly beat you.
I'm
Yeah.
off the hook.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, tonight's topic,
Oh, we're going to go to there?
we are going to go there. Yeah, we are actually going to talk about something. So, Sid, this was yours. And it says, the Bible was written for us, not to us. This is more of a statement than a question,
Yeah.
but it creates some questions because a lot of times, this is I can't reach to sit my coffee down. Some people get church hurt because they don't want a pastor who preaches at them, but that preaches to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fair statement, right? Some pastors preach at you. They try to tell you all of the things that you are doing wrong and how you should change them versus a pastor who is preaching the word, the gospel, and trying to change lives, right? There's a difference there. So the Bible is essentially that same thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't, the book of Colossians was not written to us. It was written for us.
Yeah. Like they,
so that we could read that and have that information. But they weren't talking to us specifically.
like to us in the 21st century.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would be frightened if Paul had to write a letter to the church today. Like, can you imagine what that letter would say?
Yeah.
And it would be a long one. It would be a really long one.
Yeah. He'd still be writing.
Yeah. He might not ever get it finished.
Right.
I don't know. So.
He's like, I'm cramping up over here.
So I had some thoughts, but I'll let you guys start first.
Well, Sid, how'd you come up with that idea?
Well, it was in the podcast I listened to that I shared. That Wesley Huff had mentioned it, and basically he was saying, and it's nothing against the people at the time, but they were illiterate a lot. Like they didn't realize how big this world was. And that wasn't Wesley's biggest point, but even like certain, like the ocean is brought up a lot of times because it's something powerful,
Right.
That's how they comprehended it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so I guess that's kind of how I was picturing it, because a lot of people, look at it and they're like, well, also there's a lot to it. There's a lot of symbolism, and people aren't like symbolic anymore. Like they want, do you know what I'm saying?
Black and white.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I was starting out with it, I suppose.
People aren't symbolic, I think, is a great place to start, but they're also argumentative, which is an even better place to start because let's be honest, we love to argue scripture because we want to be right rather than letting somebody else be right.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this in the past, but there's a local pastor of a larger church who thinks that Jesus has already come, and that's the gospel that they preach, that the second coming has already happened. And that I don't know if like we're left here I don't know what the concept is, but that heaven is here, heaven is now, and we should be rejoicing in it, and we should be, anyhow, it's a long, very complicated. And when he speaks, I listen like I'm a moron. I feel like I'm an idiot. Just listening. I don't get any of it. It's not the gospel that's ever been preached to me.
Right.
Now, he has a thriving church who really buys into this idea, and maybe he's right. I don't know. Like, maybe we've got it wrong. I'm not sure. I can't tell you that, but what I'll tell you is that if 98% of the churches are on our side, I'm thinking, I'm pretty confident.
And I know the word is alive just as much today as it was at that time, but I think when someone actually sat down and, when John sat down and was like, I'm going to write this, down. He wanted to write it down that way it wouldn't be forgotten. He was writing it down in his terms, and
we go into Revelation.
Obviously wasn't, I shouldn't say he wasn't thinking of us.
He wasn't.
He was in his time, and it's nothing on him or anything.
Jesus was thinking about us.
Right.
But Peter, Paul, John, none of them were. They couldn't even comprehend when Jesus was telling them that he would die and then raise again in 3 days. They couldn't comprehend that, let alone the idea that their words would live forever, and that the modern church, today's church, would be reading those as something that maybe they aren't, or something that were harder to interpret because, well, let's be honest, what they wrote was not clear.
Right.
It was not easy to interpret. All right, I need to go
Well,
to
a lot of that, you have to understand Jewish customs,
Mhm.
Right, exactly.
translations
Yep.
Yes.
at that time. And
Will I join so mighty number? Bum, bum, bum. You guys can keep talking. I have to find this. I know what I want, but I gotta find it.
So what does everyone else think? Since I kind of elaborated a little bit, Roger.
Well, I think Scripture is meant to be that way. That it's meant to be.
Open
It's
for interpretation.
it's even almost like it's kind of the same concept of our Constitution and our government. It's a living Constitution. It wasn't set in stone. Like these are the rules, and if it wasn't mentioned here, then it doesn't have any weight.
Why? Mhm.
A lot of things, the way that it was written so that people for all time can benefit from it.
Yeah.
So I think Scripture is a lot like that. It's it wasn't written for us.
Yeah.
It was written. Yeah. I you can't say that no, they didn't write it with us in mind, but I think they wrote it with mankind.
Generally speaking,
Yes.
like this what we're writing is going to be for all time and for all people, even if they couldn't understand how far that was going to go.
Right.
I definitely think that was the intent.
Yeah.
I think it's important to understand that most of the words that we read, were written under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. So God telling them to write these things down so that they may be put into a book.
Yeah.
Specifically at the beginning of Revelation, it says, "This is the revelation from Jesus Christ, which God gave him concerning the events that will happen soon. An angel was sent to God's servant John so that John could share the revelation with God's other servants. John faithfully reported the word of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ and everything that he saw." And then it goes on to the book of Revelation. So John had these visions of all of the things that are happening in Revelation, and he's writing them down, right? And he's trying to describe these things in as much detail as humanly possible. That is how all of the books are basically written. But now you also have to take into consideration that, there are times when Paul is in prison, and there's a difference in mindset when you're in bondage versus when you have freedom. And while he says, I am a slave to Jesus Christ, and he's always arguing that like they can lock me up, but I'm never going to stop serving. That may be true, but you're going to have a bad day every whip stitch, and you're probably going to miss some details or whatever. So we have to keep that in mind, that this isn't like day by day journal entries. These are stories that are put together in order to try to get us from point A to point B. There are gaps that we are not going to have all of the answers for. You find those answers through prayer and supplication. You find those answers through fasting and prayer. You're never going to have all of the answers. I have more scripture.
Ooh.
Can I go again?
Go again.
Go again.
Okay. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. Anybody know what that is? No? Great. This is my favorite. I stand by this one too, just so we're all clear.
Okay.
Women should be silent during church meetings. No, I'm just kidding. It is what it says, but I'm just kidding. It is not proper for them to speak. They should be submissive, just as the law says. If they have any questions to ask, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is improper for a woman to speak in church meetings.
Oh.
Now, that's a strong statement, right? Like basically sit down and shut up. Don't talk. We don't want to hear you. Okay. Now this is concerning exercising the gifts in public worship. So prophecy and prayer and things like that. So that is chapter 14, verse 34. But if we go back to verse 11, it says, "As a man is responsible to Christ, a woman is responsible to her husband, and Christ is responsible to God. A man dishonors Christ if he covers his head while praying or prophesying, but a woman dishonors her husband if she prays or prophesies without covering her head." Well, whoa. If she's not allowed to talk, why are we telling her that she can pray and prophesy?
Yeah, but that's in private.
No, this is talking about in public prayer.
Oh, okay.
Public prayer.
I didn't hear that part.
Yes, public prayer.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
Sounds like maybe a Mennonite.
Yes, yeah. So I think the point, and that's where the Mennonite, that's why the ladies always wear a head covering. I think the point that I make behind that is a lot of times people want to use chapter 14, verse 34
They forget about the
Yes.
beginning.
as a way of saying women shouldn't preach.
They're picking and choosing.
But if I go back, I would say my argument would be that he's telling us that they can, so long as their head is covered. Now, again, we talk about whether or not the law is like that's a real thing or not. But anyhow, my point is, when you read that in context and you actually read the whole book, you learn that the women of the church in Corinthians, they were really on fire.
Yeah.
And they wanted as much information as they could get. And at the time, those women had to sit behind a curtain in the church. So the men sat in the front because they were being taught. The women were allowed to listen, but they were to just listen behind the curtain. And what would happen is those women would press against the curtain and they would say, what does he mean? What's he talking about? We don't understand. And they're asking these questions. And whoever's preaching can't get the word out because they're being interrupted constantly. So Paul is saying, hey, you guys are great. The sun really does rise and set on the church of Corinthians. However, you got to sit down and shut up, right? We can't get the word out if you're not listening. When you have a question, jot it down. And then when you get home, text it to your husband, something, you know what I mean? When you get home, you guys can hash it out. The problem was the women, in my opinion, were far more desiring of the word than the men were because the men had been allowed to have the word their entire lives. The women are just now getting to the point where they're like starting to really dive in and understand. So, I don't know what my point was.
It's all right.
But my point was my point was it was written for them in that time.
Yes.
It was written in
Yes,
that
exactly.
situation for that situation. It was not written necessarily to tell us good, bad, or indifferent on whether or not women can.
And I'm sure it was written in an emotion, you know.
Oh,
like,
certainly.
He's probably like getting shoved every which direction, trying like maybe he's irritated at that time because these girls are.
I'm
pushing,
sure he
you know what I
is.
mean? He's like, I'm just gonna stick
Sure
this
he
in
is.
there right now.
And I can't remember who was preaching at the time. Was it Timothy that was there at the time? Does anybody remember? But basically, he had gotten a letter from I think it was Timothy. He had gotten a letter from Timothy that said, hey, listen, I can't get anything done. Every time I try.
These women are.
It's not just the women, but they're all really nagging me and they're just getting on my nerves. Can you help me out? And so he writes this letter basically rebuking the behavior, but not the people.
Right.
And so that's there's a...
Silver line.
We can understand that. We can read it in context, but we can't take it and use it against people today.
Yeah.
There's a difference in it was written to them, it was written for us.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Hey, that's the topic, isn't it?
Good. See what I did there? Circle back. A whole conversation on topic.
We did it.
I even forgot what I was saying for a second, but I was able to loop
it
it
only
back.
took 3 seasons.
We started out slow,
Yeah.
but I think once we got to it, we
Yeah.
stuck with it.
Yeah. What other thoughts do we have? Any other scriptures? There's a lot of scriptures like that, but do any of us struggle with the fact that Judas is in hell?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And the reason I struggle with that, and I have to put it in, because the Bible tells us very directly he's in hell. Like there's no sugarcoating it. It says that he is. I struggle so badly because every time I think about that, I'm like, had it not been for what he did, Jesus wouldn't have died. He wouldn't have been resurrected. And we wouldn't have everlasting life. So I feel like throw the man a bone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, can we give him a pardon, a presidential pardon, a full and unconditional presidential pardon?
We've got
Right,
all these presidential pardons.
I mean,
but-
let's think about it. If he walks away and says, I can't do this.
Right. It's done.
Yeah.
It's literally
Doesn't
over.
happen.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I struggle with it.
And I've just it's always been one of those, like, you want to think that, because Jesus goes to hell and he comes out with the keys, right? I want to think that, like, Judas is like Fabio riding on Jesus' shoulders, his hair's blowing in the wind, and you know what I mean? Like that's what I want.
Hides him underneath his robe.
Yes, right. Yeah, he sneaks him out. But
Yeah.
it's really hard to swallow that we wouldn't be where we are if it weren't for that, but yet he is suffering in hell.
And had no choice in it.
No, not well.
Well, he did, but he had to fulfill.
Right. He was fulfilling
Right.
prophecy.
Right.
And so God had ordained those steps and we knew that it was going to happen. But again, we also know that we all have free will, right? Like when God speaks to us and we decide to go the other route. I mean, Jesus in the garden, he was, Lord, should it be your will, allow this cup to pass from me.
Yeah.
Like even Jesus is saying like, listen, I really don't want to do this. I'll do it if it's what you want.
Yeah.
And I mean, Judas would have been in that same position where I'll do what I have to do, but I don't really want to do this. And at any point he could have changed it. And he did change his mind. He was like,
Oh, right. Yeah.
he
did go
has the silver and he's like, no, take it back. And they're like, too late.
Yeah.
Too late, Ruth, too late. Anybody remember that movie?
Red-
Stephen King? No, Tommy Knockers. It was a terrible movie. Don't watch it.
That's a lot like The Shining.
It's a Stephen King movie.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's these little dolls. They come to life and they're like, too late, Ruth, too late.
You sounded like the
It's
monster
terrible.
on Monsters Inc. I'm watching Lazowski. Always watching.
Wazowski, you forgot to turn in your paperwork. That's one of my favorites. I used to know a lady who smoked heavily, and I would call her on the. This is okay. All right, umbrella of grace, umbrella of grace, umbrella of grace. This isn't funny. It is funny. So she used to. I was when I worked in a mattress store.
This was before you got
This is
saved.
before I knew Jesus. Well, that's not entirely true. I was not on the straight and narrow. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I knew Jesus, but was definitely not fellowshipping with him at this point. And she was our account rep at a mattress company, and you would call her, and she'd be like, "This is Gwen," and she was the sweetest lady you'd ever meet. But you would like. And one time I said to her, I said, Gwen, your voice is just so sexy. she is like blown away. She's, I was dying, but her voice was just so raspy. Anyhow, I digress, but yeah, poor lady. Poor lady.
I thought you were going to ask her, can you just say,
Without me, you got to turn in your paper. That would have been great. Oh, boy. Anyhow. There we go.
Loop is back, lady.
Yeah, somebody pull us back. Somebody pull us back, please.
Oh.
Ay.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, so much for that. Okay, there's got to be another thought about this, right?
I'm working on it.
Okay, let me ask
Don't
another
quite
question
have
then.
it yet.
I have a feeling, based on the graphics that I had to design for this Saturday's women's conference, that they're going to talk about Lot and his wife and Sodom and Gomorrah. My question is, there is in that region a statue. It's not really a statue. It is a rock formation that they call Lot's wife because it looks like a tall pillar and it's kind of standing almost by itself. And they refer to that as Lot's wife, almost as if that is Lot's wife having been turned into salt and being there for all of these years.
Yeah, if it rained, she'd be dissolved. Because salt dissolves in water.
I'm just saying, I don't know that they're really I don't know that anybody's really saying that. My question is, do we think that those things exist? Are we ever going to find the Ark of the Covenant?
I don't know.
No,
That was another thing,
I
though,
don't believe so.
that they brought up, like a lot of people in that time in the ancient world, like they believed in like witches and the supernatural and things like that. So you could maybe put that into effect whenever they were writing these things.
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
She's a witch. Bring out your dead.
Okay, what movie is that from?
Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail.
Okay.
I'm not a witch. Look at her nose. You put it on me.
I'm not a puppet. I'm a real boy.
I'm not a puppet. I'm a real boy.
Oh, you
Not
guys
the
are
gum.
too much.
Not the gumdrop buttons.
We were doing so good.
I know. It happens.
Because you mentioned it.
Yes, right.
You
Yeah.
had to say that
Yeah.
we're on top of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
it. Yeah.
My brain. Hey, I got a text from Tanya.
Mm.
The matter was it today? Maybe yesterday? I can't remember what day it was. But she sent me a text and she's like, "Hey, I was listening to the podcast and I know that lady at the restaurant that's really mean." And I was like, "I know." Right? So there was a whole thing about that. So eventually that's getting back to that lady. So just so we're all clear on that one.
So we've got a good name
Maybe
out
she'll
for us.
start listening.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe she'll find some Jesus. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know, the sad part is she probably is already a Christian. She doesn't even it doesn't faze her that she's mean. But anyhow.
Well, some people it just comes natural.
So how about
You have plenty of people who, they don't believe in the Bible because we can't find the ark.
Right. Not the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark, Noah's Ark.
Yeah, Noah's ark. We
Noah's
can't
Ark.
find it.
Yes.
So therefore, the whole Bible is a lie.
Has to be a lie.
Because this ark does not exist.
But my
There's
argument...
plenty of things in history that we still can't find. And there's plenty of documentation to back up the history, but for whatever reason, we can't find where the guy's buried. We can't find, their treasure. We can't find... Doesn't mean it didn't exist. Doesn't mean it's not history. It's just, there are holes in history.
Because we weren't around, we don't know. And the people who were around, guess what? They all dead. It's just like when we talk about Noah and the Great Flood, we're finding fossils of fish in mountains.
Yeah.
How else did they get there? They didn't swim up the mountain.
A bird.
They had legs then.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not sure if you know how this works, but they did not swim up that mountainside. So, and I think that there may come a time when something is revealed, when we're able to find something. But, they've found what they thought were parts of the ark in the past, and they carbon date the wood, and it doesn't carbon date old enough, or it carbon dates older. My thing is we don't really have a full understanding of the time frame either.
Yeah.
We keep time differently than we ever have. There's really...
And they've kept time differently in so many different
even
cultures.
Even in regions.
And I think during that time they were making keeping time by their knuckles or something.
I don't know. January,
their
February,
Apple
March,
Watch.
April, May.
Yeah.
June. Yeah, it wasn't their Apple Watch. They didn't have their Casio. Casio atomic watch.
I just see John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when he's trying to get the hotel room. Steve Martin has a Rolex watch, and he's shows it to the guy. So, he gives him a room. And John Candy's like, I've got the Casio.
Did it have the calculator in it?
I don't know.
Those
I
were my
think it did.
favorites.
And the guy's like, sorry, I'm going to have to say goodnight.
I want to get me one of those with the calculator built in.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I lost it again.
How old are you, Nick?
There it was, and
45. Roger, 45.
There it was, and there it went.
Wesley Huff was even saying there was speculation of the whole 3 days, with the dying and remaining 3 days later. There's speculation it could have actually been sooner based on how they took time.
Correct.
Based on the ways that we think that they took time.
We count time in 24-hour periods. Therefore, everything is 24-hour periods, even when that's not how they were keeping time. It's the same with the 7 days of creation. We don't know what that actually looked like.
It could have been 7 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, we've talked about this in the past, but it says that a minute is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a minute unto the Lord. So, and when people say, Jesus is coming soon, again, sooner than yesterday, but we don't know what that means. Yeah. No man shall know the hour. But we know that we are closer than we were yesterday. And
we also know he was born, he lived, he died, and rose again. That, we know that is the 100% the truth.
Well, and going back to the book and the life of Jesus and the crucifixion, throughout history, thousands and thousands of years, there's been trends. There have been civilizations that have come and gone. So why is it that this book that was written by all these different people, within this certain amount of time, about Jesus, he could have lived and died, and it could have been a big thing for a while, and then just kind of died out.
Yeah,
it could have been a trend. Everybody got excited about it,
like
for
TikTok.
A little bit. We can only hope.
Jenny.
And it could have just been something that we kind of we kind of almost look like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. We could be looking at it like that, but it's the one thing in the history that mankind is consistently passionate about.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, we have clung to this story, we have clung to this history, we have clung to this man, and it's the one thing that doesn't go away. And so I think that in itself is, for anybody who doubts it, or for anybody who has questions, or like you're saying, whether, they wrote it for us or to us, I guess it doesn't really matter.
No.
The fact is that this book, this one book of recorded history, has made such an impact.
Yep.
Through thousands, generation after generation. And there's nothing else like that. There really isn't. I mean, like I said, there's plenty of, I'm sure when Moby Dick came out, maybe that's a bad example because I don't even think at first it was very popular. But
well, no,
let's
because
say
it was a huge, terrible book.
When Charles Dickens wrote The Christmas Carol, it was a huge hit, and there's a lot of books that were, really important for their time, even like things like Frankenstein and Tom Sawyer and all those books. But yeah, it's still interesting to some people now. Yeah. But for most people, it's like, who's going to read it?
Right.
Who's really going to take the time to read Moby Dick? A few of us will that are kind of interested in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like the Bible. It's the one book. It's the one thing that has made millions of people commit to this idea.
Yeah.
And
like you said, there were different populations.
And it's not because when you read it, it's interesting.
No.
Or it's
Lord have mercy.
No.
So explain that.
Yeah.
It's not a page turner.
It's not a thriller, right? You're not reading this going, I have to get to the next page.
Yeah.
So explain that. So then why does this book have such a hold on people generation after generation?
I have two statements. First, you said you were talking about King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Join me on my quest for Camelot. So that was my first point. My second point was
that was good. That was pretty sharp.
It's another Monty Python reference. Jesus is listed as a prophet in the Quran. Jesus is the only prophet that commonly pops up in all of the other religions.
Yeah.
So we know for a fact that Jesus was real. So there is no doubt that Jesus was a real person who lived on earth and walked. And so people are like, well, there's no proof that that's true. I can't imagine that every religion would at least mention him and it not be true.
Right.
Right. So then the difference is we have to then be able to accept the fact that he was not just a prophet, as those religions will have you believe, that he was King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That
he wasn't this guy that just came in and stirred things up for a while.
Right.
And because he could have just been a legend, because I think there's even plenty of people who, they actually live, but they're more or less legends now.
Yeah.
We don't think of them any more than
like Paul Bunyan,
Sam Bass.
I don't even know who Sam Bass is.
Me either, and I'm old too, Roger. Not
I think Sam Bass was a caveman. I'm not sure.
For our history, even like Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett.
Yep,
they're legends now. They're not even real people,
right,
to us.
Right,
but they were real people.
Yes,
but they've kind of turned into a legend. And Jesus could have been the same way. But
you said that as if Paul Bunyan wasn't a real person. He was a real person, wasn't he?
I don't think so.
I think he was.
Was he?
I think he was.
And what about Babe?
I don't think Babe was a real blue ox, but
she was just an ox.
Oh, that's not fair.
You know why she was blue?
Nope. He was not a real person. So I've lived a lie. My entire life has been a lie.
Because it was cold.
Wow. I had no idea. I thought for sure he was real. I didn't think that he was some giant that drove.
Johnny Appleseed might have been.
He was real. He was
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a legend now.
Yeah. Well, but even go back through history and think about some of the presidents. Lincoln would be more of a legend than
George Washington.
Yes,
is a legend,
exactly.
More or less.
Yeah. When you think about those people, like you think about George Washington, and people talk about his wooden teeth and all of the things that maybe aren't fully accurate, but it's the story that we know and it's the story that we
Chopping
tell.
down the cherry tree.
Yes, exactly. All of those things were just
So why? That's always the question. Is there had to be something to it. It couldn't have just been coincidence. It couldn't have just been it has to be. There has to be something to it that has, changed the world. And as I've said many times, this world was a pretty cruel place before he came along. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think they kind of think like kindness and all the ideas that he brought forth were there. No, they really weren't. The world was a pretty dark and cruel place where pretty unforgiving, and even the wrath of God was pretty it was a rough place to be, so without him it's like we don't have the ideas of forgiveness and love and those the fruits that you've discussed.
They would be again, legend status where, okay, those are things that we might talk about, but they're not things that we feel obligated to, morally obligated to. Because, all right, if ground zero for morality is Jesus, everything good comes from God, everything bad comes from Satan or from hell or whatever. So if that is like if you don't believe that Jesus Christ is who he says he is, where's your moral compass start? Like, what's the barometer for that? Like, where do you go?
Yeah.
What's good? What's bad? Like, so for people who don't believe in God, if shooting somebody is bad, how do you determine that? Because what is morality? The Bible is what teaches us that, right? Like, that's the general basis. And we can say, oh, society, it's not acceptable. Well, the problem is in some societies it is acceptable.
Right.
So how do you know?
Yeah.
We know because the Bible says it's not acceptable.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people could argue that we don't, our conscience is just something that we learn basically from our parents and from society.
Yeah.
The conscience is built on what we experience. So if you do see somebody get shot or you think about it, well, yeah, it causes pain. So obviously it has to be bad. But
what is pain? Because
what is pain?
Because
Right.
okay, so let's put it this way.
Pain is gain.
Pain is gain. So let's put it this way. Let's say that you use your charge card and you buy something and you get it and you love it and it's wonderful and you keep it, but you decide that I really can't afford to make the minimum payment on this, so I'm going to charge it back with my credit card company. I know my credit card company is going to give me full credit for it, right? Because that typically they err on the side of the buyer. And then the merchant just loses that money. Well, it's Amazon. Who cares, right? They have billions of dollars. Does it matter? Is it still morally correct?
No.
No, but you don't feel pain from it. Jeff Bezos doesn't feel pain from that. Nobody's really feeling pain, but it is still not morally right. That's the stuff that, like, without Jesus...
And it's going to continue... You're going to continue to make those bad decisions.
Well, because
eventually it is going to affect your life in a...
The next thing you know, it's super easy. You go to work and you take out the petty cash box. You're like, oh, you know what? Somebody balanced this wrong. There's an extra 20. That's going in my pocket.
Nobody missed the last 20 things I've done.
Exactly.
Right.
And eventually you get caught. And then you're like, well, how did this happen? Because your moral compass is really broken.
Yeah.
And we don't know how to bring it back to zero, because if you don't believe in Jesus, you don't understand what zero is. You don't understand what neutral is.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was fun.
Yeah. Well, human sin causes us a lot of times to live our lives through power and control and everything that we have to gain from this world. So without Jesus, a lot of times I think that's how people are going to follow through in life.
Yeah.
They're going to try to get everything through holding something over somebody else, keeping power, which is, that's the way a lot of civilizations were ran, before Jesus came along, before he started changing people's minds about, how to live. It's just like, I know the Egyptians did it, and I guess that's one thing, like, I'm still trying to understand, like, okay, like, I've learned some things about Egyptian society, but I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, like, I'm sure they loved their sons and daughters, but I don't know if it's like the way we think about it, because I think they were always thinking, like, okay, son, you're going to take over the kingdom, so everything you do has to be rooted in that idea that someday you're going to have to rule with the same kind of power and authority that I do. I don't know if I guess I don't know what their moral compass was.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to learn more about that, but
I don't know.
I
If
don't
they
think
had
it's-
one,
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that maybe they didn't love their,
Yeah.
their children,
Right.
but I don't know if it's the way that we think about it, because I think it did have more to do with
Power.
and control. And if you weren't one of those, if you weren't in that high authority, or in their case, if you weren't a priest or a magician or somebody who was in that, ring of authority,
Yeah.
you're a peasant. You were nothing.
Right.
You were absolutely nothing. They didn't show those people any kindness or mercy or
Grace.
Yeah.
To point to that, when I preached about Moses and Aaron going to Pharaoh and asking that for the people to be released, and some of the things that he would have them do is he would say, okay, have Aaron throw down his staff will turn into a snake. When he picks the staff or the snake up, it will turn back into a staff. And what did Pharaoh do? He said, that's nothing.
Yeah, we do that.
I can do that.
Yeah.
And he would go out and he would bring these people in and they would do that exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't fully understand that all of that was very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
All of that was very intentional. And that when you say, like, so to him, Moses and Aaron were nobodies because you're doing parlor magic.
Yeah,
like
correct.
like everybody can do this. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not the only one that can do it. This isn't God speaking. This is just you learning how to do a trick to try to convince me to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, I mean, there was obviously the parting of the Red Sea that his people could not do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hence the whoosh.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
So,
They were flushed away. All right. Any parting wisdom? Last minute thoughts? Sid, it's your turn to pray.
All righty. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this time that we had tonight. I thank you that you put this topic on my mind, Lord. It was for someone, maybe not now, maybe so, maybe in the future. I pray that, it just touches whoever, and I pray someone got something out of it, and I pray for travel mercies in your name. Amen.
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 Hey friends, Pastor Michael again. If you've enjoyed this podcast, you should consider joining us on Sunday mornings. Our address is 1943 North Water Street Extension in Yorksville. We'd love to have you join us for an in-person service.